Hey guys, Clone Guy here, and today I have you guys a replay featuring the FV215B, and we're platoon up with Spartan Elite, Rage Adrenaline, and GotADingy, and we are on Severgorsk. Now, I'm asking the question, is the FV215B dead? Because we have the Chieftain now, and the Super Conqueror, specifically the Super Conqueror, because the Super Conqueror has the same exact gun, and reload, more armor, and a stronger turret. Does that make this tank obsolete? And the Super Conqueror has the better side armor, doesn't have the weak fighting compartment on the side, so you can actually even side scrape with the Super Conqueror. Meanwhile, this tank has 50mm of side armor below the tracks, or should I say at the same level as the tracks, and above it is 100. And then underneath the turret, there's a little wedge that sticks out, and that's also very, very weak. So does that make this tank a weak tank? Is this tank dead? And so that's the question we are asking today, and I will come right out this gate and tell you this is my all-time favorite ever heavy tank, and to me it is not ever going to be dead. And I'm hoping in this game we'll be able to demonstrate how good this tank sometimes can be over the Super Conqueror. First of all, that's the first thing. The gun handling. Do you see this circle when I aim in, guys? Ready? I'm gonna aim in again. Look at this circle. Look how small it is. That's an amazing thing. That's what sets this thing apart from every other tank in the game, is its gun handling. On the move, specifically on the move gun handling. Because some people, you could argue that the Chieftain has better gun handling, or at least aim time regards, but this thing just hits on the move everything. The Chieftain will miss sometimes. This thing just doesn't. That's what makes it amazing, in my own opinion. And another thing it can do is it can just hunker in right here. Could the Super Conqueror hunker in right here? Probably. I really think the Super Conqueror could also hunker in right here. And it might even perform better, because that HE from the 277 did quite a bit of damage to me. Well, not too much, but the Super Conqueror with its space armor would have just done that much better. Now we're trying to avoid the 277 and the 257 right now. 277 shooting HE, so that's a little bit annoying. Now, I recently, for Christmas should I say, I hope you guys all had a wonderful Christmas. I haven't posted anything since Christmas. I took a little bit of a break. But I got a new controller. And those of you who have been watching my streams will know that my controller has been giving me issues probably the last 6 months. The Y-axis on my controller is broken, the left joystick, and so I'm unable to drive forward or backwards without going to auto drive, so I can't actually stop my tank. And you'll know that sometimes when I'm trying to poke out or something like that, I overextend or my tank doesn't aim in because it's still driving, and I have that issue sometimes. But it's finally fixed, and I've been enjoying just enjoying playing tanks again, especially light tanks, because holy cow, being able to stop when I want to is amazing, and start when I want to, it makes everything feel good again. Now, we're fighting up against an IS-4 here, and he's not really paying much attention to us, and we've only taken HE damage from that 277 so far. Put a shell through the upper plate of the IS-4, something a little bit weak about that tank. Something you want to do when you're playing that tank is just angle at a 45. And it is annoying to have to go through a nightmare. But we've loaded the gold just because I want to be able to finish him quickly right now and get into the fight elsewhere. And we're aiming up a shot, and we go through. We would never have gone through with standard at that angle. He angled perfectly. But, you know, premium rounds just are a little too much, I think, in this game. Definitely a little too much. Because he's angling perfectly. And I just go, haha, doesn't matter, you're dead. And I don't like that feature about this game. I really don't. I'm going to use them, though, because I have them. I think people should be rewarded for knowing how to angle. I think knowing weak spots should be rewarded. So in other words, if you know where your weak spots are, and you know how to hide them, then you don't get penned. And if you know where the enemy's weak spots are, and you know where to shoot, then you do pen. So it's like, I think that's how the game should be. So I think what they're doing on PC, where they're reducing premium pen, or premium alpha by like 25 to 30% is a fantastic thing, because now it's going to reward people for aiming at weak spots. And if you just spam premium, you're going to have 25% less DPM. And I do like that, and I'm excited about that. And we shot a couple APCR shells at the Waffle E100. Definitely not needed there at all. Obviously not needed at all. But I just forgot to switch. And I'm gonna realize in just a sec, like, oh, I can shoot this guy with HE, and then that's when I realize, okay, let's go to Hesh now. One thing about this tank that's great is it has Hesh, 120mm of penetration on its HE shells with 515 alpha. The Super Conk, of course, has the same gun, so its stats are the same. on the damage, penetration, so on and so forth. And you're about to see something that this tank can do that the Super Conqueror can't do. Look how fast this thing turns. Bum. Super Conk is a slug, and then it gets right back up to speed, no problem. The Super Conqueror is a slug of a tank. It goes so slow. Oh my gosh. I was playing that thing the other day, and I just could not handle the speed. And then I pulled this thing out, and this is the game I had. My first game back in this tank after like months. And I don't think this tank is dead yet. I think if you like the enhanced mobility and better gun, this tank is still the gem. As you can see, we've only been penned once. Everything else has been HE damage. And we've just been shooting. Like, this thing, it's a gun platform. It's amazing. Look, we don't even aim at that guy. We just fire. What other tanks can do that? 140 T62A, yes, but not as well. This thing is just fantastic. The only thing about this tank, which is a little bit of a letdown, is the shell velocity. Because if you take out a T62A or 140, that thing's gun handling is a dream as well, and its shells just fly that much faster. This thing, of course, shoots even better on the move, but because the shells are slow, sometimes you don't hit, like that one. I aimed at his tank, but as soon as I fired, he pulled forward, and I shot behind him. If I was in a T62A or 140, my shell might have hit, because it would have gotten there faster. And so that just little things like that. And then the Super Conqueror also has a fantastic gun on the move, but it's nowhere near as good as this thing. And this thing is faster, and this thing turns faster. I just still love this tank. And we bounce off the side turret with the 277. It's the left side of that turret is actually better than the right side, we found out. In the rear, that is. Now we're aiming up at his tracks, and don't manage to damage his tracks there. But we do penetrate him anyway. We're going to put another shell into him. Fire it in, and we hit his ammo rack, and you can see we have Eagle Eye, and it tells us he hasn't fixed his ammo rack. So we're aiming in the same exact spot, hopefully to get an ammo rack, and no, we're unable to get the ammo rack, and someone else finishes him off. And now all that's left, well, is a 57 heavy. And there we go. Now just 2 light tanks. And so we're going to load the Hesh for those 2 guys, because I don't want to shoot gold at them. I never shoot gold, though. I do use silver. I'm going to cut ahead because it was a little bit of a chasing around the map before we were finally able to figure out their pattern, and we were in fact able to cut them off. We're going to fire a Hesh shell into the side of this guy. Boom! 492, a bit of a low roll. 515, as I've mentioned earlier, is the alpha damage on this tank with its Hesh. And you're going to see right here, we fire, and I thought we hit the turret of that tank, which is where you want to hit because of his spaced armor, but it looks like we clipped the very top back of his hull, which is all spaced armor, so we're unable to penetrate his tank, unfortunately, there. And we damaged his fuel tanks and only splashed for a little less than 200. But are we going to be able to get another shot off? And nope, because he gets tracked right as we aim in front of him. And then he subsequently, there's the word I was looking for, gets finished off by Spartan Elite. And he goes down, but not a bad game for a quote-unquote dead tank. You don't see these out in the battlefield much at all anymore. The Chieftain kind of put it in the coffin, and then the Super Conqueror nailed it. Nailed the nail to the coffin. That's the word that's the term I'm using. I'm sticking with. But 7,200 damage, ace tanker, 1,500 base XP, and a nice amount of money. Anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed. If you did, please slap that like button, comment, and subscribe. And let me know how your Christmas was. And also let me know if you think the 215B is dead. I personally still like it, but then again, this was my first ever tier 10 heavy tank, so I guess that's kind of why. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys all later. Take care, and peace out.